Oh my word. Oh my gosh dang goodness. What is this? What is this? Is this the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Rebirth Anti-Birth Plus Non-Repentance Edition? Little throwback. You guys remember this? Hey, throwback to you apply for veterans discount if you remember this title screen. This is Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Afterbirth Plus. Post-birth. This is Isaac Plus. This is Isaac. Welcome to Isaac. No do the Azazel? Wow, no dailies. Oh, it's so sad to see how the game has died. It is so sad to see that no one is playing The Binding of Isaac anymore. We're gonna do a new run, and I'm gonna... Dude, even I've not played this since March. Even just from watching people play Repentance, I haven't even played Repentance, and it still, like, looks weird. The game looks weird. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be... Oh, cool. It's one of these ones. It's gonna be very framey. Oh, cool. Isaac doesn't run on my computer anymore. This is fun. This is fun. This is a fun time. I chose Isaac. Oh, there we go. We're chilling. I'm playing a little Isaac. I'm not playing Repentance. I think I've reached that point. Repentance came out right as I was a little, the candle was burning a little low on Isaac. I was not quite burnt out, but a little close to it. And then Repentance came out and everyone on the planet was playing Repentance. I consumed so much Repentance content. In fact, the month that, and I think that's maybe what ended up burning me out. I think the month that Repentance came out is probably the least I've watched NL in, like, forever. I would just tune in, like, every now and then. Ooh, that's a good little item. Isaac Pog. Can I get an Isaac Pog in video game? Oh, we've got mini maze. Oh, no. I was pretty much, like, I was watching Josh play it. I've been watching Josh play it on YouTube, obviously, because it's Josh. So, obviously, I am going to watch my boy. But like, I wasn't even watching NL much. I just kind of got a bit burnt out on it. I think I've finally reached that point where I'm like, yeah, I think I'm ready to give Repentance a go. However, just with the sheer amount of content that's in the game, I think I need to get some things figured out in my life first. Get some things on track first before I delve into it, because there are just so... I'm stupid. I should have... Ah, it still did it. I think they fixed this in Repentance, the double thing. Oh, hello. A little frame me. Yeah, you know, it's a hard game to run. Like, it's fine, I understand. It's a hard game to run. Maybe a little more. Yeah, I think I'm ready to finally, like, crack into it, but I need Ooh. Okay, we're flying a little close to the sun here, and it did not pay off. I think I need a little time. Why am I playing it today, though? I wanted to talk about Inside by Bo Burnham, and I was like, you know what? Fall Guys has accidentally become my banter engine, but it's probably not the best. I think for some casual stuff it's good, but if I actually want to go into stuff, it's hard because I'm constantly, like, cutting my own sentences off to react to the video game, and my trains of thoughts are so, like, they don't go on a track, they don't go in a straight line, they wobble. Genshin added boats last night to the video game, to Genshin Impact. You can drive around in boats like Legend of Zelda Wind Wooper, Legend of the Uneated Wooper. Oh my god, this is so framey. It's capturing, right? Yeah, okay. And I was a little under the influence, and I was playing with Spink, who was very under the influence. Watching her drive around in her boat at no point in a straight line, constantly swerving left and right, and crashing into just about every single rock she could possibly crash into. That's a good, imagine that, but it's a train. That's how my trains of thought function. They do be wobbly, and they do be crashing into hella rocks. It was still absolutely hilarious every single time. But that's by the by. I'm just going to take these healths down to the next level. Can I eat this? Tasty. But maybe Isaac is a good it is a better vessel because you can tune the game out a little bit more. I still cut myself off and interrupt myself, but you can go on autopilot. Probably not Repentance so much, but you can go on autopilot a bit more in Isaac than you can with Fall Guys, I feel. Ooh. We'll hold off. We'll see what our situation is when we get to the shop. Look, I'm not gonna say no to a little reroll and a free item for no reason. I'm gonna say no to a little reroll. Okay, let's just be careful here. Let's just be careful here. Okay, so this is good timing. We'll check this. Wow, 2 items to choose from. Okay. Now let's check this. Right. No battery in there. So I re-rolled the double, right? Okay, I mean, I don't know which one this is, but I'm going to take it. I can take both! Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus the secret rooms. Okay, so we're going to get exactly a re-roll. Right, well, in that case... Oh, there's a battery there. Okay, let's do this now. Straight away. We can get all this, right? Yeah, what was this about not talking about the video game The Binding of Isaac? Okay, no, this is chilling. Not worrying about that pill right now. Let's just grab this. Yeah, sure, because we have one more reroll probably on the floor. And oh shit, I forgot there was a battery right next to it. And multiple items to reroll. Okay, I'll leave that there for now. Oh, this is the one that goes on the walls. Okay, I'm fine with that. The flies are usually helpful. Okay. I want to talk about Bo Burnham's Inside. I watched it when it came out. Oh god, I'm so tired. I didn't sleep last night, I'm gonna be honest. You probably know if you've seen my channels. And by my channels I mean Yeti Hype. I'm a pretty big Bo Burnham fan. I've basically adored the guy since 2013. I remember What coming out, and people were like pogging up over What. So I was like, oh, what's the deal with this? Haha, what? So I went and watched it, and was like, this guy is hilarious and one of the funniest people I've seen in my entire life. Yes, please. And I've basically been a fan ever since. I remember going back through his back catalogue. Like, pretty much everything he released way back to, like, the YouTube days. Like, he was on YouTube back in, like, 2006 or whatever. Like, way back when it started. So, I really went back. And then I remember Make Happy coming out. And that, like, ruined me a little bit for a while. And then, obviously, he retired from comedy. Or at least from doing specials. He wasn't going to do any more comedy. He was going to go into movies. Which he did, and then he came back with Inside recently. So naturally, I pog out of my damn mind, and again, if you've seen... Okay. I can't fucking count. Why are we short of a charge? Did one of these rooms not have enemies in it? I can't count. That's fine. In that case, fuck it. I'll just take this now. He, Dude, this is so... I really should not be getting into this discussion when I'm, like, on no sleep. Like, I should have... Probably could have approached this much more eloquently. Both of them. Had I actually, like, put some thought into this beforehand. I did not. In fact, if anything, I would have loved to have done this video last night after watching Inside, having done a few shots before watching Inside, because I had a slight mental breakdown, and I think that would have been great content. Which says a lot, actually. So Inside, Bo is an interesting fella. He's one of these people who's always had this element of like cynical, like realism. He's always been like an introspective individual. He's forever had this constant like dilemma, like duality in his own mind over holy fuck. Yeah, sure. Over like wanting to use his platform that he's got to live out his dream and to try and provide happiness to other people, but also feeling like he doesn't deserve the spotlight that he's in, and like he's constantly been in this duality, and he's been saying this since he had a song called Art Is Dead in Words in 2010, where he was talking about like his like feeling of, oh my god, what a run, dude, what the fuck. The general concept of art being more about the money rather than anything else at this point, and talking about how he's like an addict for attention, and there's moments where he kind of has these moments of self-reflection when he's like, I with the budget of that particular show at that time, and this was 2010, this was before Netflix, with that particular show at that time, he was like, there's a line where he says, I could have fed a family for 40 fucking fortnights, but I wanted my name in lights. So he's always, and this was 2010, and then he got picked up by Netflix and had his highest budget special yet, that went on Netflix and did really fucking well. And then kind of from there, his spotlight only grew and grew and grew, and therefore so did the kind of apathy towards, his sort of tortured artist feel, and his apathy towards the situation, whilst also wanting to make the most out of it, and blah, blah, blah. So that's been a theme kind of throughout his comedy for most of his career to this point, that naturally as his career has grown, so has that feeling for him, I would imagine. And this is all like my thoughts and feelings. This is not, I don't know the guy, obviously, and that's kind of the point. But why Inside was good is he kind of, that felt like the amalgamation of all that. He kind of has built that up over the years. And mostly I wanted to do this because Inside gave me a realization last night that made me want to never make a YouTube video again in my entire life. Fuck it, if I have to think about it, you have to think about it. I'm gonna say this now. What's crazy to me, and this isn't necessarily something that was covered specifically in Inside, this was something that I took away from it, indirectly. I've been doing YouTube since 2010, right? That's 11 years. I'm 22 years old. That's half of my entire life. Shortly, it may have already happened. I can't remember what month exactly I started in 2010. Shortly, or eventually, I will reach a point where it will cross over more than half my life. There will, the period of time, there will have been longer in my life that I've been making YouTube videos than the period of my life when I wasn't, right? So it's been my hobby, my main hobby, for half of my entire life, right? And none of it's real. None of this is real. None of this is anything, right? No, okay, it's real to me right now. As I'm sat here recording this video, this is my life playing out in the present moment. Every sentence that I speak, the seconds tick off the proverbial life clock in this moment, right? So to me, this is about as real as it gets, because I'm literally, this is my life that is happening and occurring right now as I speak to this microphone. As I feel like I'm speaking to someone, as I'm speaking to this microphone, right? But as soon as anyone hears this, at all, there's no one else in the house right now, there's no one else around me, no one else is hearing these words. As soon as this feels real to me, this feels like I'm talking, but as soon as anyone at all hears these words, they aren't real. It's the data, it's ones and zeros. I may look like me. Okay, I don't have my webcam on today, but I look like me and I sound like me, but it isn't me. As anyone is watching this, I am not here, right? That's fucking crazy to me, and this is why I have online friends, so to speak. I never really know how to describe or like how to label that sort of thing. Yeah, I'll take this for the HP. I have online friends, and this is why it's like so important to me. And here's the thing: they are some of the most important people in my entire life, and I don't know what I'd do without them at this point. And for all the times I've spoken to them and hung out with them and played games with them and stuff, as some of like the most important moments to me, especially over the past year. But I have made so many great memories and stuff by from talking to them and hanging out with them, etc., etc. And of course, cherish every moment that I get to do so, just completely to the highest degree. It's very important to me, and it's really like, yeah, some of my happiest moments have come from that. But this is why it's so like important to me that I am eventually we get to that I get to see these people and actually like, live part of my actual life with them and spend actual time with them. Because like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's one thing to say like, oh, you can hang out with people online and then you can hang out with people in person and it's got to hit different, right? But even, I have like IRL friends who I've hung out with IRL obviously, but then have also played games with online. Not really. I've said before, I've never really had gamer friends. Like for whatever reason, I just end up in friend groups with people who just don't play games. I never really had any gamer friends really, or like a little bit. And then I had the one friend that I grew up playing games with, and he ended up kind of stopping because he's just like stupid smart. So he just like got like super into his studies and kind of put everything else to the side for that. But I still like have had that way. I've had friends that I've hung out with in person and also hung out with online. Obviously, hanging out in person hits different. But like when I'm talking about the friends that like I interact with online like constantly and have been for quite a while now. When that first like hanging out in person, it's gonna hit different, dude. Like I mean, like nothing. It's gonna be different. Right, like nothing. Like, I don't even know. I might cry. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But that's why it's like so important to me, is because every now and then I think about it and I'm like, part of what the thing with Inside was like the focus on, like, I don't even know where to start. I've only watched it twice, so I really need to watch it again, like probably like 3 more times before I even really know what I think about it. But there was so much of a focus on like the digital world and how like how blurred the lines have become between our actual lives and how digital everything is. And I think that was what was so great about it. Okay, it's called Inside. We've just had a year where it's been quarantine and the pandemic, lockdowns, etc., etc. Everyone has been inside, so that's the point, right? But then that's not necessarily the point, because we were in this stage now where things are starting to ease up and stuff. Everyone's doing the lockdown thing. Everyone's spent the past year doing stuff from being trapped in the house. Oh, we're all in the same boat. Ha. It's kind of like everyone's been doing this bit, and for many months to come, I have no doubt that we will continue to get a lot of post-lockdown content. People will be joking about quarantine and the pandemic and lockdown and blah 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 for probably a long time, and I don't know if things are ever going to be the same way that they were entirely, but let's assume for the sake of argument that things go back to normal, quote unquote normal, eventually, right? Eventually, if that does happen, there will be a point, however many years from now, that we will look back at the post-COVID era and be like, oh, look at all of these, comedy specials and all these TV shows and stuff where everyone's making the same jokes about quarantine. Okay, it made sense. He was inside, and that was his thing, but it didn't feel like he was just being like, oh, here's more quarantine content, here's more, add to the quarantine bit list. It felt instead like he used that. I don't even know what this does with. Oh yeah, it curves it. I hate it. It felt like he made the most of it. It felt like he's been apathetic towards the digital era and social media and all that shit for years. It felt like this was a great opportunity for him, and it felt like he really played off of that and made the most of the opportunity to make. To kind of embellish on his point that he's been trying to make for years. So I think that was why it was so great, is because obviously being inside and the situation stuff it just makes sense given everything that's going on, everything that's been going on. But at the same time, it didn't just feel like that was the bit. It felt like he used that as a foundation to do what he wanted to do and to make the points that he really wanted to make, which is what I think was brilliant about it. And even like as Bo, like the whole point is, there's a lot of talk about like mental health and kind of that like introspective reflection. And he's always had this line between being like a stage presence, an act, a show, but also being like real about it. I think the end of Make Happy, which I don't want to spoil in case anyone hasn't seen it, is a great example of that. Where those lines get blurred. And for side note, by the way, the fact that the end of Make Happy led so perfectly into the start of Inside, considering they were 5 fucking years apart, and considering Make Happy was supposed to be the last, how he had the foresight to pull that off, I have no idea. And maybe he didn't have the foresight, maybe Make Happy was Make Happy, and then he just was like, okay, I can maybe play off this. I don't know, but it was brilliant and it worked. He always has drawn this line, but the thing is, if you watch Bo, and this is what's gonna expose me as like a big Bo nerd here, like I've not just watched What on Netflix 20 fucking times. I've watched multiple like different performances of What from like different cities. Same with Words. And then same with like some of the songs and stuff from Make Happy. He very much he's so meticulous in every detail of his shows. If you can hear him perform a song in one show and then perform the same song a few shows later down the tour, and he'll change out words, he'll like reword a sentence, he'll like reword a punchline of a joke. And the amount of times you'll hear him like tell a joke or sing a line in a song, and then you hear him do it again, and he doesn't even change the line itself or the words, but he'll just change like the way he says it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's better. Like every detail of his shows is so he's got such incredible attention to detail that you know that everything is so like meticulous and everything is as it's supposed to be, that you always kind of have that like, okay, but also it's real, and like it's so good at like trying to make it real and try and make it candid, but then is it candid? I don't know. Inside was such like the epitome of that, because he had these moments where it almost felt like he was having a breakdown on camera, which was the point, but then like you can't tell with Bo. Like, the point is he's trying to show, like, the inside of his life and in his head throughout this whole process and blah, 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 and that he's showing these moments on camera. But you can't even tell, because it's the sort of thing he would do to actually show him, like physically struggling mentally, if that makes sense, on camera. That's the sort of thing he'd do. So, okay, it's real. But at the same time, he's so meticulous with everything, and especially you would think, okay, this would maybe be the better opportunity to do that, because if it's on a show, you only get one take. With Inside, he can do the mental breakdown take as many times as he goddamn wants till it's absolutely perfect. You don't know what of it is and isn't real, and that blows my mind and is absolutely perfect. And I think that surmises it so well, because I think a lot of the point of it is that like blurred line between reality and digital. Obviously, he talked about a lot in the special. This is just the bit that really resonated with me right now, or the bit that I really like hooked onto. As someone who like lives on the digital space, and also has had this, obviously not to the same degree, but also has had this like dilemma. People talk about like looking up to celebrities that they can relate to, right? Oh, I'm so similar. Look at this like super rich famous person who is like, oh, they woke up and they're like, oh, Mondays. Yeah, same. Oh, I hate Mondays. It's so relatable. They're just like me. Look, Bo's rich, right? So, but it still feels nice to have someone that I can look at and relate. And this is like, again, he's rich because of his art. So when I compare what he's doing and how he's existing in respect to his art, and comparing that to myself, it's not comparable. I am not on the same level. I don't have the same platform. I've not seen even remotely the same amount of success, etc., etc. But I still would like to draw comfort from that. And I almost feel like it's Bo's thing to kind of feel this, like he plays off of it. He played off of it in Inside, about the whole like, oh, if you wake up and smell smoke, call me and I'll tell you a joke, etc., etc., etc. He's done that a similar bit before in What, in the song Sad, when he talked about laughter being the best medicine except for actual medicine, and talking about how He's not a comedian capitalizing on the animalistic impulses of the public. He's a hero, etc., etc. Like, he's played off that before. Also, I should probably go into this just in case Josh is watching this, because I want to encourage Josh to watch the other two specials. So I don't want to reference too much because I don't want to spoil things. Because I want him to watch them. But so I'll probably stop doing that actually now that I'm thinking about it. But either way, he's played off of that bit before, right? But like, there's some truth to it. I think that's why he still wants to do what he wants to do. And again, this comes up in Make Happy, and I really don't want to spoil that because it's the ending of Make Happy is just so fucking good, I think. So I don't really want to spoil that, but this comes up to where I think, like, as much as he's like, he's worried, he's constantly worried that that's like, is he doing that? Is he doing it enough? Is that what he's doing? Because that's what he wants to do. He wants to make people happy. He wants to make people laugh. And inside, he talks about that, like, self-doubt of, is he still doing that? Is he still able to make people laugh? Has he lost his touch after quitting comedy? When he's doing this online content and telling these jokes in his room that no one is responding to, and he doesn't have that immediate gratification of people being in front of him, but at the same time, the immediate gratification that social media brings, it's so hard for him to tell if he's even, like, doing well. He doesn't know. He doesn't know, right? And that's why he's worried about it, because that's what he wants to be doing so badly. So that's why I feel like, okay, maybe I you know, it's something for me to say, oh, I relate to it, when really, how much do I actually relate to him? But I feel like it's okay, and that's a good thing, because he wants people to take something from his work. He said himself, he wants to leave the world a better place than how he found it. And, you know, it's like Eminem has that one song. Oh, this is gonna... Which song was this? Was it Guts Over Fear? He talks about it in The Monster, I think, where he said about scribbling enough rhymes to try and help get some people through tough times, and if one kid hears this and it makes a difference, whatever. It's Eminem. He's like one of the biggest musicians in the world. He's hella rich, but he's like, if he writes lyrics and one kid out there gets something out of it, then he's happy, right? I feel like Bo's in a similar situation, or maybe not necessarily, but I feel like he would be in a similar situation to where he's like, hey, if his work had made a positive influence or had a positive impact on someone's life, then that's a good thing for him. So I don't know how much I even can relate, but I also don't think it matters too much. My reflection was a terrible mistake, by the way. It's like, killed this run. Then that's a positive thing. And the part that I do relate to, and the part that does resonate with me, is that like dilemma. Because I've talked in videos before, I constantly have this dilemma of, I think it's an attention thing, right? Of not knowing, like, I want to be on a stage, I want to perform, I want to, like, make people laugh, I want to see people laugh, I upload these videos, I want to see people, like, watch them and comment that they enjoyed it and, like, had a good time, and yet I want no one to know that I exist. I want to just live, and I don't want to be acknowledged. And it's crazy, I upload videos to the internet and want them to get views, and then I go out into the outside world and want no one to even, like, realize that I'm there. I don't want people to notice me in the street, I don't want people to notice me in the store. I just want to go out, I want to get my groceries, and I want to come back into the house and be done with it. And yet I'll go and I'll be anxious about that, and yet I'll come home and I'll turn on the camera and I'll plug in the microphone and I'll talk to myself and I'll be like, hey, I hope people listen to me. So I understand. Oh, I didn't drop the fucking left hand. Yeah, eat my ass. And I've said before, I'm sure I said it in an Isaac episode, that I've had this thought of being like, if I ever got to a point with YouTube, like past a certain point, like, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000 subs, that I would just quit, that I would just delete everything and not do it anymore. because it's more than what I want and think I could handle. But deep down, I know that's not true. I would probably treasure that attention. And part of it is control, I think, because I can upload a video and know that people are gonna, like, if I upload a Yeti video, that's me uploading something for people to watch. I know what the video is, I know what people are seeing, and people can watch that, versus, you know, being out in public where people are going to give me attention that I don't want, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I've had that dilemma, again, not to the same degree, because he has to deal with things like, you know, the money, for example. The money is a big one. The money that he gets from it, does he think he deserves it? He's taking money out of people's pockets. These people, he knows that the people who come to his shows have, like, normal jobs. They get up early, they go to work, they work their ass off, so that he can, you know, lie in bed and wake up late and write some jokes and then stand on a stage and make thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And he's fought with this dilemma before. I don't have to worry about that. The money isn't part of YouTube for me right now. That isn't something I've had to kind of find peace with myself. But there's still that element of, like, that constant dilemma in my head. I finished the run, and I felt like I haven't said anything. I don't know what I wanted to say, but I feel like I haven't said any of it. I told you the train of thought was going to be all over the place. It's nice to feel like... It's hard, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. This has been my hobby for so long. I've lost track. I've lost track of where I was going. I almost feel like I want to do another one. Or talk about it again. Because I was like, oh, this will be a good idea. I'll talk about Inside. And then the longer this video's gone on, the more I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking right now. I almost feel like I could maybe do this again. Maybe in like 2 weeks, I'll watch it and then do a video straight after. That could be fun. The funny thing is, when Make Happy came out, I did a video essay. I wrote the script for a video essay about Make Happy, and that started on Make Happy and then ended up going into like stoicism and kind of a philosophical view of happiness and what happiness is, etc., etc. And then I didn't end up doing it because I didn't get around to recording it. But then I also kind of realized new album from Rise Against, Foggy. I kind of realized the amount of editing that would go into it, and realized that I didn't really have the space for it on my channel, so to speak. Like, I didn't even know where I was going to upload it, and it didn't really fit into any of my content at the time, so it kind of would have been really out of place. So I figured for the amount of effort it would take, it probably wouldn't be worth it for the returns. And then I ended up rewriting most of the script last year, over quarantine actually, of a similar video that still used Make Happy as an initial foundation and reference back to it, but it wasn't about Bo necessarily anymore, or the video. The original video was more about Bo. This one was more about, like, the stoicism and kind of that sort of, like, pursuit of happiness and philosophical views and blah blah blah, with references to Make Happy earlier on as a bit of a foundation to what got me thinking. I still might do that at some point. I still would like to. And Inside has maybe motivated me to actually go and do that, because the idea of making the most of being trapped inside. I've been trapped inside for a year and I've done nothing. I've done nothing at all. Nothing of note. So the idea of creating something and putting something out there I love that idea, and I want to do that. I kind of want to create something now. Maybe that could be my project that kicks things off. I don't know. However, as I said, I did have plans for a video essay on Make Happy in 2016 and never ended up doing it. So I almost feel like this has maybe reignited that urge, that flame that I never quite had the opportunity to put out. So maybe in a couple of weeks I'll talk properly about Inside. Fuck it, maybe I'll make a video about Inside specifically. Like a script, like I'll sit down, not just like a random Isaac rambling because I felt like rambling. Maybe I'll do an actual video where I think about what I want to say and I will talk about it. I don't know, because I don't know what I've said today. What the hell is Warden? I don't know. I don't know where I've got. I can't even remember what I've said. I'll do that. That could be interesting. That could be fun. I think my game's crashed. Hello? I think my computer's crashed. Streamlabs is also not responding. Okay, everything's crashed. I feel like I want to keep going because I feel like I haven't said anything. But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but don't, because I don't know what I actually want to say. Which I feel like is part of the fucking problem. When he talks about social media being the answer to a generation who wants to perform, and you know, people being raised to think that their opinions are important and you should speak your mind because people want to hear it, when in reality no one wants to hear what you want to say, and social media has kind of created this platform for people to perform everything to everyone all the time, and as a result no one shuts up anymore. And I'm sat here doing the same thing. I could have just shut up. I could have sat here and I could have thought about it and I could have left it at that, and that would have been it. But I, for some reason, couldn't fight this urge. And I started the video saying, or early in the video, I was like, I had this thought that made me want to not do YouTube again. And yet here I am saying this in a YouTube video. I couldn't, like, fight this urge to turn my computer on, set my mic up, and start talking about it. And I don't even know what my opinions actually even are yet. I haven't formed the opinions fully. I spent the whole video talking about how I don't know what I want to say, and yet I still couldn't resist that urge to be like, people have to hear what I have to say about Inside. I have to get into an Isaac video and talk about Inside. I'm kind of stalling now because Isaac and Streamlabs are both crashed, so I can't actually do anything until they start responding. So I'm kind of just waiting here. And also hoping that Streamlabs hasn't corrupted because of what happened with the Genshin video the other day, where it corrupted the file, and I managed to save the file, but then the second half of the video just didn't exist. And by the other day, I mean that was yesterday. So look, maybe I'll make another video on the subject. Maybe I'll never make another YouTube video again. I guess I'll find out. I really want to end this video. I'm ready. I feel like I've hit that wall. But I literally, Streamlabs just isn't responding. It's frozen. It's been on 34, 39 for about 2 minutes. So now I'm just like worried that this ending isn't real. It was pretty hot, eh? Weather's got pretty warm. Anyone listen to any good music recently? You know what I've had stuck in my head? Feel you out and keep my legs apart and forget about my tainted heart. And I will never ever be the first to say, but still I love you. I would do it, push a button, pull a trigger, climb a mountain, cause you know baby I love you. Love you a little, I would do it, I would say it, I would mean it, we could do it, it was you and I only think I'm a little bit in love with you. I'm really hoping this will end any moment. I'm just gonna sit here and sing until this finishes. A little bit in love with you. Please let me, Streamlabs, it's not even like telling me it's not responding, it's literally just like, it looks like a JPEG image on my screen. Like the audio bars are frozen on where they were 5 minutes ago. It's the recording thing says 34:29. I just want to end the video.